Okay, let's work on this problem. This problem has a factor of which looks like a square plus x square. If that is the case, we make the substitution of a tangent theta. In this case, if this is 16, which is 4 square, that means a is 4. So we will make the substitution for tangent theta. Differentiating dx is 4 secant square theta d theta. Let's make the substitution. X is 4 tangent theta cube square root of 16 plus 16 tangent square theta times, in place of dx we write this whole thing, 4 secant square theta d theta. 4 cube is 64 times tangent cube theta. Out of this, 16 can factor out, square root of 16 is 4. And then in square root will be left with 1 plus tangent square theta times 4 secant square theta d theta. You guys should know from your pre-cal, 1 plus tangent square theta can be replaced as secant square theta. That's actually why we make the substitution. Now we have 64 times 4 times 4. 64 times 4 times 4 is 1024. I'm going to keep it out. Tangent cube theta. This part was secant square theta, so that square root of that would be secant theta times secant square theta d theta. So in conclusion, we have a trigonometric integral of this format, tangent power n theta times secant power m theta, where n is an odd number. Basically, tangent's power is odd. Okay. If you remember, that integral we did using in last section 7.2. We did it as by peeling one tangent off from tangent theta and one secant off from secant theta. So we will be left with tangent square theta times secant square theta. And we're going to keep this as is, but replace all the other tangents into secant square. How? 1 plus tangent square theta is secant square theta. So tangent square theta can be basically replaced by secant square theta minus 1. Let's do that. Secant square theta minus 1 times secant square theta. We are not going to touch the remaining tangent theta, secant theta, which we replaced. The goal here is to make for this question, the integral question, we're going to make a substitution of u. U is secant theta. Du is, what is the derivative of secant theta? Secant theta times tangent theta d theta. If you notice, that's already sitting here in the question. That's why we use that. 1024 out. Secant we substituted as u minus 1. This is u square. And this whole thing can be replaced as du. That looks like an algebraic integral. 1024 out. I can distribute this inside. This will become u the power 4 minus u square du. Integral of that we can do now using power rule. Power add by 5 minus u cube by 3 plus c. So we're done with integration, but we need to reach back into the original expression format. Original expression was in terms of x. First of all, we need to put u back. Let's do that. Secant power 5 theta divided by 5 minus secant cube theta by 3. plus c. Now, we also need to get rid of secant theta and put it in terms of x. Let's see how we can do that. Do you guys see this? This is where we started from. Let's write this down on the side. X is equal to 4 tangent theta. That means x by 4 is tangent theta. Tangent, in if I talk in right angle triangle strategy with this as theta, tangent is opposite by hypotenuse. So opposite is x and opposite by adjacent. So the adjacent is 4. So the hypotenuse would be square of two opposite legs would be 16 plus x square. Okay. From here, we can be able to find secant theta. Secant theta is hypotenuse by adjacent. So square root of 16 plus x square by 4. So we can replace wherever there is secant theta by this expression. Let's work on that. 1024. Secant the power 5. This here is square root. Square root means power half. So that can be written as 16 plus x square power half, but power 5. So 5 by 2 basically. By 5 times 4 the power 5 is 1024 minus secant cube would be 16 plus x square power cube 3, but this is square root, so power half, 3 by 2. By 3 times 4 the power 3 is 60 plus c. We are almost done, but this looks like a good answer because we are back into our expression format. But you guys notice I can factor this part out because both of them have it. So let's factor that. 1024, 16 plus x squared power 3 by 2. I'm going to also factor 1024. So when out of 5 by 2 power, we take 3 by 2 out, what is left? 5 by 2 minus 3 by 2 is 1. So 16 plus x squared is left. And by 5 minus this whole thing is gone out. 1 divided by out of 6. This thing would be multiplied by 16 by 3. This can cancel. So 16 plus x square 3 by 2. Here you can just make common denominator 15. So 16 plus x square minus 80. 16 times 5, and this has to be multiplied by 3 because of this. So 16 plus x square power 3 by 2. 3x square when 3 multiplies with this. 3 times 16, 48 minus 80. So basically my answer is 16 plus x square power 3 by 2, 3x square plus, actually minus 80 minus 48, 32 by 15 plus c. Always end up. Make sure indefinite integrals always need to write a c at the end. That's really important. Okay.